What's good, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create and label the 5 key points for box and whisker plots given a set of numbers. Starting this video off, everyone, the first thing we want to do is to arrange our numbers or our data points from least to greatest, also known as ascending order. And after we do that, the first thing that we want to go ahead, or the first point we want to identify, is Q2, which is also known as the median. So for us to find that, we just have to find a number that's in the middle of these sets of numbers. So we're going to tick them off from each side until we determine what is our median. And what we determine is that 33 is going to represent our median. Now let's say we had two numbers, right? There are two numbers in the middle. All we have to do is add them together, divide by 2. Now that we have Q2, we have to understand that this breaks our numbers or our data set into two different parts, right? So we have a lower quartile and an upper quartile, and this is how we find Q1 and Q3. So when we go into the lower range, right, we're going to repeat the same process to find the median of this lower set of numbers, right? So I now know that Q1 is going to be 27. And another word that we typically use to identify Q1 is the lower quartile, right? So if you see them refer to the lower quartile, they're talking about quartile 1. Now we go ahead over here on the right hand side, or should I say the right of the median, and we should know this is the upper quartile, right? Also known as Q3. So now we'll repeat the process. We're going to find the median of the upper quartile. And what we notice is that Q3 is going to be 39. Now, why are these points important? One, when we create our box and whisker plot, right, we have Q1, Q2, Q3. So after we identify there's something else we need to get, which is the minimum value, which is 25, right? Also referred to as the lower extreme. And then we have the maximum value, which is just 40. And this is going to be considered the upper extreme. So we've got most of the important information. Now, the only things we're missing is, are there any outliers? How do we determine if there are outliers? I got you. So what we're going to now focus on is trying to figure out what is the IQR. And all this stands for is just the interquartile range, right? And how do we find the interquartile range? Very simple. We're going to take Q3 and subtract Q1 from it. And once we get our answer from there, what we want to do is to multiply that by 1.5 and subtract. So what do I mean? Let's write out the formula right here. So we have Q1 minus the IQR multiplied by 1.5. And then for Q3, it's the opposite. We're going to add the IQR times 1.5. And if you have 1.5 in front of the IQR, if you wrote the other way, it's the same exact thing, guys. So we know IQR is going to be equal to 39 minus 27, which gives us a final answer of 12. So now for us to determine whether they are outliers, we're now going to plug this in. All right, so let's just substitute real quick. So we have 27 minus 12 times 1.5. And then for the upper quartile, we're going to do 39 plus 12 times 1.5. So let's see what this gives us when we actually multiply. All right, let's see what we get. So we got 1.5 times 12. That's 18. 27 minus 18 is equal to 9. And then our upper quartile range, let's check the notes, is going to be equal to 57. So what do these two numbers represent? If there's any number that is lower than 9 or higher than 57, that means they are outliers. They're not going to be within that box and whisker plot. And we're now going to plot this on a line so I could show you exactly what I mean. All right, so we created our graph, and now we're going to label everything. So now we know Q1 is at 27, right? So let's just put a point here. I know Q2 is 33. Let's put a point here. And then I know Q3 is 39, which is right here. So what I just did was basically draw the box for the box and whisker plot, right? We have Q1, Q2, Q3. Now, when we think about the other 2 points that are important for us, right? Minimum and the maximum, we know the minimum is going to be 25. So that'd be somewhere right here. So there goes our whisker. Sometimes you see the whisker drawn like this. Same exact thing, okay? Then we go on the other side, and we're now going to label the maximum, which is just 40. So we're going to draw this out right here, and this is our maximum. Now, when we talk about this inner quartile range and outliers, if we had a data point that was, let's say, 7, right? And we had another one that was like 60. These would be considered outliers. And if we wanted to plot them on that box and whisker plot, we would have to plot it as just a circle on the graph, right? Let's just say this was at 7, and on the other side, let's just say this was 60. This is how we would plot the outliers if they were greater than or less than these two numbers that you see here. Really hope that this box and whisker plot video was helpful for you guys on how to take the data, create the box and whisker plot, and then label it correctly. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on Algebra 1 with Mr. Peters. Really hope you enjoyed this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave questions for future videos you guys would like to see on our channel, or if you guys had questions on today's video.